Australia knows how to stick with things that it likes. There are facts that are known to Aussies that remain true today, just as they have for decades. Beer is good for you. Every living thing around you is capable of killing you quickly, and burnouts are better than paying for therapy. That final point means that Australia's best cars are the kind with large V8 engines up front, sending power to the driven wheels out back. This is why V8 Supercars is one of the best racing series on the planet. Mad Max is an entertaining movie, and the very word hoon itself comes from down under. Here in America, we occasionally get peeks at machines offered up across the pond, and we look on with jealous excitement. Sometimes, those machines even make their way up to our neck of the woods. Such is the case when in 2008, GM brought over the Holden Commodore, slapped Pontiac badges on it, and called it the G8. It had a 2-year run before Pontiac went the way of Oldsmobile, Saturn, and Hummer. Now though, GM is back with some Aussie gold in the form of the latest version of Holden's Commodore. In kangaroo country, it's called the VF Commodore, but up here, we simply call it the SS.
So what's a better place to come test the Chevrolet SS than the Hooniverse Highway Hooning Grounds off of Ortega Highway? Since we're dealing with a rear-wheel drive car and a V8 engine, we want to go somewhere where there's twisty roads, and this is it. Slap this 6-speed gearbox into sport mode, and it'll work hard to keep you in the gear that you want to be in. Of course, there's paddles here behind the steering wheel, and they work all right. They're not lightning quick. They're adequate. They're actually better sorted for when you're rolling down the highway and you want to go to make a pass. You could just do that with torque by pushing your foot flat, or you can grab a gear, go down to third, and power on. Now, one thing that I find interesting about this car is that it actually has a 50-50 weight distribution. That's kind of surprising. I didn't expect that to happen. I expected it to be kind of heavy over the front. But what Chevrolet did was they used aluminum for the hood and the deck lid. That hood is 30% lighter than one that would have been made out of steel, and you save some weight there, and that's a great thing. It shows they're putting their mind together. At least down in Australia, they're the ones who probably thought of it so that they could just do better burnouts, more evenly weighted as they drift from side to side and the rear end dances. Still though, that weight savings and that 50-50 distribution are making themselves evident on this road. This is a curvy road. It's not quite as technical as the most technical ones in LA, but it does have some high-speed turns, and it also has some decreasing radius sections that come up on you pretty quickly. And that's where the 14-inch Brembo brakes up front come into play. So when you come in a little hot, stomp on it, the tripod goes flying, but you brake, you're set up for the next turn, and you're away.
This is the first rear-wheel drive V8 sedan that Chevrolet has sold in the US since the 4th gen Caprice and that delightful Impala SS that went away back in 1996. That means entire teenagers have been born, grown up, and learned to enjoy awful pop stars in that time period. Under the hood is an LS3 6.2-liter V8 engine. It produces 415 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque, and it's paired with the familiar GM paddle-shiftable 6-speed automatic gearbox. Chevrolet calls the bump in the front of the hood a power bulge. I'll let that sink in for a moment. Power bulge. Size-wise, the SS slots in between the Malibu and the Impala. It has plenty of space both front and rear, and is more subtly aggressive inside than either of those cars, as you might expect.
This is a seriously fun car. It's not a car that you'd expect to be that enjoyable. It's definitely going to be fun in just straight line romps, and if you feel like ruining the rear rubber of the car. It can do that all day long, but it's actually holding its own out here. It's got a McPherson front suspension, it's got a multi-link in the rear, so it's some weight dancing around, but like I said, it's balanced, and it's also sorted thanks to that suspension setup. It's a bit sad that this is the last hurrah for Holden. I mean, at least that's the way it appears to us here in the States. We don't get many of your offerings. If we do, they're boring Chevy, Cadillac, Buick versions. We want cars like this, but we're not going to really get them, and no one's going to get them soon because Holden's stopping production in Australia by about 2017. So this is it. If you like rear-wheel drive Chevrolet badge sedans, this is what you got to do. And originally the plan was to make 15 to 20,000 of these available, and who knows how well it's selling, because it sounds like they're only going to do about 2,000 of them. Start buying them, people.